Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐬𝐫 Sharma.
Good evening, aspirants. Welcome to the Hindu News Analysis discussion brought to you by ForumIAS for the date 23rd of August 2023. These are the list of news articles for today's discussion. We will be covering topics from science and technology, polity, governance, and a topic from international relations and a topic from environment. Alongside this, we will also be discussing two previous year prelims questions at the end of the discussion. So with this straight away, let us move to our first article of the day. First topic, Chandrayaan 3 lander all set for touchdown today. The news is that Chandrayaan 3's lander module with the rover will attempt to land on the moon surface today. And by this time, we would have known about the latest updates on this mission through various news channels. Now, let us discuss the mission Chandrayaan 3 from exam point of view. See, recently, India's third moon mission, which is the Chandrayaan 3, was successfully launched on board a Launch Vehicle Mark 3 rocket from Satish Dhawan Space Center. This is India's second attempt at soft landing on the lunar surface after the failure of previous attempt Chandrayaan 2 in 2019. Know that so far, only 3 countries, which are the United States, Russia and China, have successfully soft landed on the moon. Here note that Chandrayaan 3 seeks to study moonquakes, composition of lunar surface and atmosphere, then to understand Earth's lifelike elements, and studies like how heat passes through lunar surface and plasma environment on the moon. See, the mission will also demonstrate ISRO's ability of soft landing on lunar surface and roving on the lunar terrain. So in this way, it is expected to be supportive to ISRO's future interplanetary missions. Now let us see how does the Chandrayaan 3 compare with 2019's Chandrayaan 2 and why does it have a higher probability of success. While the mission objective remains the same, unlike Chandrayaan 2, which consists of a lander, rover and an orbiter, the Chandrayaan 3 will launch with only a lander and a rover by utilizing the existing orbiter from Chandrayaan 2. Because this orbiter from Chandrayaan 2 will be used for communication and terrain mapping purposes. Also know that ISRO has adopted a failure-based design for Chandrayaan 3 instead of a success-based design. It means ISRO's focus during the Chandrayaan 3 mission was on identifying the potential failure points and implementing safeguards to ensure a successful landing. So, learning from its Chandrayaan 2 failure, ISRO have implemented several improvements in Chandrayaan 3 to ensure success this time. Now, let us see what are some of the improvements that have been undertaken. First is the landing area. See, the landing area has been expanded. Instead of trying to reach a specific 500 meter into 500 meter patch for landing, the current mission has given instruction to land safely anywhere between 4 kilometers to 2.4 kilometer area. Then secondly, the legs of Chandrayaan 3 lander have been strengthened to ensure that it would be able to land and stabilize even at the speed of 108 km per hour. See, the Chandrayaan 3 lander is carrying more fuel than Chandrayaan 2. This is to enhance the lander's capability to make a last minute change in its landing site. Then, the Chandrayaan 3 lander has solar panels on all 4 sides instead of only 2 sides in the Chandrayaan 2. This design modification enables the lander to continue harnessing solar power even if it lands in incorrect orientation. Then if you take Chandrayaan 3 incorporates additional navigational and guidance instruments to continuously monitor the speed of lander and making any required corrections. Also know that significant upgrades have been made to hazard detection and avoidance camera, also by processing algorithm and navigation with guidance software of Chandrayaan 3. Alongside this, multiple layers of redundancies have been implemented to guarantee that alternative systems are available in case of any malfunction. Then importantly, know that the lander has been subjected to multiple stress tests and experiments carried out by ISRO. Now let us know how is Chandrayaan 3 different from other moon missions. Firstly, Chandrayaan 3 is different from other moon missions as it would be the world's first mission to try to soft land near the lunar south pole. Whereas all the previous spacecrafts have landed a few degrees in the north latitude or south in the lunar equatorial region, because landing in equatorial region is easier and safer because there is a smooth surface there. Also, the surface near the lunar equator is even with lesser hills or craters. And abundant sunlight in the equatorial region offers regular supply of energy to solar powered instruments there. Whereas the polar regions of the moon have numerous craters and many regions near lunar poles are characterized by lack of sunlight and extremely low temperature. So the absence of sunlight and extremely low temperature pose obstacles for instrument operations there. But in spite of those challenges, ISRO has attempted to take the mission forward. Now let us know why ISRO wants to explore the moon's south pole. Firstly, the moon's south pole is said to be unexplored region. The challenging conditions of the polar regions on the moon have discouraged exploration, but evidence from various orbiter missions suggests these areas hold significant potential for exploration. For example, the 2008 Chandrayaan 1 mission indicated the presence of substantial amount of ice molecules in the deep craters of this region. Second point is the insights into early history of solar system. Also, the extreme cold temperature in the polar regions of the moon preserve objects as they remain frozen and undergo minimal changes over time. As a result, the rocks and soil found in the moon's north and south pole have the potential to offer valuable insights into the earlier stages of solar system. Then know that the moon's minimal axial tilt of 1.5 degrees result in certain craters near the lunar north and south poles never receiving direct sunlight. These specific areas are referred to permanently shadowed regions. According to 2019 NASA report, water can potentially persist over the permanently shadowed region as certain areas maintain sufficiently low temperatures to keep water stable at the surface. These are the reasons why ISRO wants to explore the south polar region of moon. Now let us see what is the significance of this mission. First is that with a human-rated launch vehicle mark to be used for the upcoming Gaganyaan mission, the LVM-3's successful launch of Chandrayaan 3 has gained significance as it would further enhance the reliability of the launch vehicle. Then there is a shift in India's space program. The Chandrayaan and the Mangalyaan signaled a shift in strategy where earlier ISRO seemed focusing on utilitarian objectives like enabling telecommunication, telemedicine, teleeducation, etc. But now space and planetary exploration is becoming a priority. Then the ability to make a soft landing on a planetary body is a crucial technology that can impact ISRO's ability to carry out future missions. For example, the US Artemis program significantly expands the scale of future exploration. So in the future, there is a likelihood of discontinuing the International Space Station and leading several nations, including the US, to explore construction of more permanent structures on the lunar surface. So India can become a significant partner in these endeavors with the successful launch of Chandrayaan 3. Then the successful launch of Chandrayaan 3 could bolster investor confidence and attract more private investments in the space technology. So this development will promote cost-efficient and highly reliable space-grade hardware provided by the Indian space industry for this mission. Moreover, it validates India's industry as a potential supplier for lunar programs undertaken by other countries. As a conclusion, we can say, while prioritizing the peaceful use of outer space, India must also remain cautious of the potential militarization of space. However, becoming a space power is a crucial initial step, and in that way, Chandrayaan 3 can propel India closer to achieving this goal. So that is all about the topic. So from this topic, we saw about the recent updates regarding Chandrayaan 3 and also the significance of this mission. So with this, let us close this topic and move to the second topic. Second topic, a strong case to restore Section 8, Clause 4 of RP Act. Firstly, let us know about the RP Act. Then let us get into the opinion of the author. The Representation of People Act. See, to ensure the conduct of elections in free, fair and an impartial manner, the Constitution makers incorporated Part 15, which is the Article 324 to Article 329 in the Constitution. This has empowered Parliament to make laws to regulate the electoral process. In this context, the Parliament has enacted two laws. One, Representation of People Act 1950, and the second one is the Representation of People Act 1951. Now, if we take the Representation of People Act 1950, it deals with seat allocation in Lok Sabha, legislative assemblies. Secondly, it lays down procedures for the delimitation of constituencies. Thirdly, the RP Act of 1950 lay procedure for the preparation of electoral rolls and the manner of filling seats. Fourthly, the Act lays down the qualification of voters. Now, if we take the Representation of People Act 1951, this Act regulates the actual conduct of elections and by-elections. Secondly, it provides administrative machinery for conducting elections. Thirdly, it deals with the registration of political parties. Then, it specifies the qualification and disqualifications of members of houses. Fourthly, this Act provides provisions to curb corrupt practices and other offences. Also, this Act lays down the procedure for settling doubts and disputes arising out of elections. Then, if we take the Section 8, Clause 3, according to this Act, if an MP or an MLA is convicted for any other crimes and if he or she is sent to jail for more than 2 years, then that particular MP or MLA will be disqualified for 6 years from the time of release. But however, Section 8 of Clause 4 allowed convicted MPs, MLAs and MLCs to continue in their post provided they appealed against their conviction in higher court within 3-month period. But later on, the Supreme Court in Lily Thomas case struck down the Section 8, Clause 4 of the RPA Act and declared it ultra-virus and held that disqualification takes place from the date of conviction. That is why when the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment in 2019 defamation case, he was disqualified instantaneously. Here in the initial paragraphs, the author is communicating his opinion about the authority who has the power to disqualify. He says in the scheme of Section 8, Clause 3, when a sitting member is convicted and sentenced to imprisonment for 2 years or more, the convicted person shall be disqualified with effect from the date of conviction. Here, it is the President who shall disqualify him under the Article 103, and the Secretariat of the House to which the members belong have no authority to declare that a member stands disqualified. Also, the author says the judgment in Lily Thomas case can demoralize the legislatures and it could affect the careers of sitting legislators in the country, because instant disqualification on conviction and sentence will upset their entire legislative career without giving them breathing space. We all know, right, how the court functions and deals with appeals, revisions and such. So, the delay in justice delivery will become punishments and they would have to wait for years to get the cases resolved. So, the issue of instant disqualification needs to be addressed urgently as it may affect the careers of legislators. We all know that the Supreme Court struck down Section 8, Clause 4 on the grounds that Parliament has no power to provide for special privilege for convicted legislators. That is because Article 102 of Clause 1 does not permit such special differentiation between the elected legislators and the other candidates. But the author says that the Constitution permits such differentiation under Article 103 of the Constitution. Under this Article 103, it provides that in case of sitting legislators, the question of disqualification can be decided by President only. So, considering this, a suitable amendment can be made in Article 102 to enable Parliament to restore the invalidated section 8 of clause 4. So that is what the article has to say. With this, let us close the topic and move to the third topic. Third topic on protecting the biodiversity of Northeast. See, Northeast India is a green belt region due to its abundant natural resources such as oil, natural gas, minerals and fresh water. And moreover, the 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥 hills and the Brahmaputra valley are some of the most important biodiversity hotspots. Though Northeast is industrially backward, deforestation, floods and existing industries are causing serious problems to the environment in the region. See, an environmental assessment of Northeast Rural Livelihood Project was undertaken by the Ministry of Development of Northeastern region. From that assessment, the ministry lays out that Northeast India lies within ecologically fragile, biologically rich region and are highly prone to climate changes. Here, the assessment report published by the Ministry of Development of Northeastern region says that both flora and fauna are under threat due to deforestation, mining, quarrying and shifting cultivation. Knowing all these only, Government of India came out with various laws to control and regulate the impact of environment. Thus, a considerable number of environmental laws and policies have been developed in the country, especially during the periods of 1980s. For instance, offences related to environment have also been included under the term public nuisance in various provisions of IPC 1860. However, as the 6th schedule of the Constitution grants autonomy to district councils, it limits the authority of state over matters that comes under the jurisdiction of district council, especially if we take the use of land purposes. In many instances, like in the case of Umiam Lake, the district councils do not take any regulations for the preservation and protection of land, especially those around the water bodies. Thirdly, the other mechanisms for protection which are allowed are public interest litigations and judicial activism, which are encouraged under the Article 32 and 226 of the Constitution. These instruments in fact led to wave of environmental litigations. For example, the National Green Tribunal once imposed a fine of rupees 100 crore on the Meghalaya state government for failing to curb illegal mining. It also imposed a fine of rupees 200 crores on the Manipur government for improper waste management. Moreover, the enforcement of strict guidelines and imposition of heavy penalties by judicial and quasi-judicial organs of the state often rescue the ecologically sensitive flora and fauna of these regions. So, the article suggests that central and the state government have to develop infrastructure, generate revenue and create employment through sustainable policies. And it says the negative list in the Northeastern Industrial Developmental Scheme is a step in the right direction. According to this list, if an entity is not complying with any of the environmental standards or if an entity does not have applicable environmental clearance, then it will not be eligible for any incentives under the Northeast Industrial Developmental Scheme. And so these entities which do not follow a regular procedure will be put on the negative list. Similarly, the Act Fast for Northeast policy should not only include trade and commerce, but also the preservation of environment and ecology in the region. So, we should know that the aim for a $10 trillion economy without protecting India's environment is a goal which is not worth pursuing. So, the government should consider the case of creating a uniform environmental legislation which could cater to environmental issues at all levels of governance. So, that is all about the article. So, with this, let us close this article and move to the next topic. Fourth topic, BRICS is a platform for Global South, says Modi. The news is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaches Johannesburg to take part in leaders' retreat which is attended by leaders of BRICS countries. And as a significant occurrence, Russian President Vladimir Putin is also set to join via video conference today. So let us deal this topic from prelims angle. Now let us know what led to the formation of BRICS. See, Jim O'Neill gave the concept of BRIC, which is BRIC, the grouping of 4 emerging countries, which are Brazil, Russia, India and China. two of its components joined hands with South Africa to form IBSA in 2003. And then when China was keen to join it, it managed to enlist South Africa's support. But Brazil and India were not ready, so they maintained that the forum was open only to democracies. But China played a trump card and decided to bring South Africa into BRIC, thus turning it into BRICS. Soon, the new club overshadowed IBSA, where IBSA has been unable to hold its summit since 2011, but BRICS has held around 14 summits in the past 13 years. So that is all about the introduction with respect to BRICS nations. Now let us see what is the progress of BRICS so far. See, BRICS focused its attention on both geopolitical and economic dimensions. It has articulated a common view on key global and regional issues, and it has also projected as a non-Western view. Secondly, it has strengthened the multipolarity and limited the dominating influence of the West. On the economic front, it launched new initiatives like New Development Bank, Contingent Reserve Arrangement, which is a financial mechanism to protect against global liquidity pressure. And also, BRICS came up with a comprehensive program to expand trade and investment cooperation. Now, let us know what are the challenges before BRICS. See, China and Russia did not fully back other members' bid to secure membership of UN Security Council. So, many members within the groupings are disappointed. And in second decade of the century, there were a dramatic economic rise of China, and China began to increase its military assertiveness. This disturbed the group's inner balance. Then the post-Ukraine consolidation of Russia-China cooperation, economic issues in South Africa that accelerates dependence on China, then Brazil's rightist policies have generated new tensions. Also know that Beijing's push for a common currency for intra-BRICS trade is also creating new problems. But in spite of that, we must know certain countries are willing to join BRICS. Let us know why. See, 19 countries are eager to join BRICS as of now, and China is pushing the expansion as a strategic device to extend its global influence. The demand to join BRICS stems from the fear of missing out on a membership of a club that has some visibility. Many realize that the doors of other groupings are closed to them, and this forum, that is the BRICS forum, provides the opportunity and also satisfies their desire to create a forum of Global South. Now let us see what are the options available before BRICS for entry of new members. In the next BRICS summit that is hosted by South Africa today and tomorrow, it could take decisions on expansion and its criteria. Three options are available. First is mega expansion that raises the membership from 5 to 21, thus surpassing G20. Second option is the limited admission of 10 new members, 2 each supported by existing members. Third option, admission of only 5 new members, where 1 each supported by an existing member. If the third option wins consensus, Argentina, Egypt, Indonesia, UAE and Bangladesh are the most likely states to be new members of BRICS. So that is all about the article. So from this article, we saw about the origin of BRICS, the challenges before it, and also the reasons why many countries are willing to join the groupings. So with this, let us close this topic and move to the last topic of the day. Fifth and the final topic, chair has the discretion to expunge or restore remarks, says Birla. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla recently said that the presiding officer has the power to expunge or restore remarks of any members as per the rules and procedures of the House. So from this context, let us know about the role of Speaker of Lok Sabha from exam point of view. See, India is a parliamentary democracy where parliamentary proceedings are headed by Speaker in the Lok Sabha. A parliamentary democracy is a system of government in which citizens elect representatives to a legislative parliament to make necessary laws and decisions for the country. In a parliamentary democracy, the Speaker represents the dignity and freedom of the House and the country's freedom and liberty. So now let us see the role and functions of Speaker of Lok Sabha in parliamentary democracy. First is to ensure smooth proceedings of the House. The Speaker presides over the meetings of Lok Sabha and conducts its proceedings. He also presides over the joint sitting of two houses of the parliament. Therefore, it enables parliament to successfully carry over the debates and passage of important laws. So, first, ensuring smooth proceeding of the house is one of the role of speaker. Then point 2, maintain discipline in the Lok Sabha. The speaker maintains discipline in the house, and if any member disrupts or try to disrupt the proceedings of the house, the speaker can warn them or can ask them to leave the house. Know that speaker can even suspend a member from the house whom speaker finds guilty of violating discipline and decorum. This ensures smooth functioning of Lok Sabha. Then point 3, fix the agenda of the house. The speaker, in consultation with other members of the business committee of house and the prime minister, fixes the agenda of the meeting of the house. This ensures timely debates and discussions on important issues of the country. Point 4, permission to ask questions. Each member of the house can put questions to ministers. The permission of the speaker is required for this purpose. This helps the speaker to prevent unnecessary and politically motivated questions while ensuring discussion on the important questions. Then point 5, conduct the business of house. The speaker conducts the business of house. He or she allows, that is the speaker allows the members to introduce the bills or to move motions. The speaker then recognizes the members on the floor of the house and gives them time for speaking in the house. Speaker then fixes time limit for the debates in the house and puts matters to vote and announces the result. Know that speaker can warn the members against the use of unparliamentary language and can order the same to be expunged from the records. Point 6 is interpretation of rules of procedure. The business of the house is conducted according to settled rules of procedure. In case of any disputes regarding the rules of the house, the speaker interprets and applies these rules. The interpretation of rules made by speaker is final and know that they cannot be challenged. Point 7 is the power to adjourn the house. The speaker can adjourn the meetings of the house if the quorum of the house is not complete, or if conducting the business of the house is not possible due to disorderly behavior of its members. Then another important function of the speaker is with respect to decision about the money bill. If a dispute arises over the question as to whether a bill is a money bill or not, the decision of the speaker is final and it cannot be even challenged inside or outside the house. Then another important function is with respect to casting vote. The speaker does not participate in the debate and discussions of the house. They even do not take part in voting on bills. Although as a member, the speaker has the right to vote, and in case of a tie over any bill, the speaker exercises his or her casting vote, thereby contributing to important legislations. Then point number 10, protects the privilege of members of the house. See, the members of the house enjoy several privileges which are protected by the speaker. Here, the speaker acts as the guardian of the privilege of MPs and the house as a whole. Point 11, role regarding the committees of the house. The speaker plays an important role in the composition of the committee, and know that speaker is also ex officio chairperson of some of the important committees like General Purpose Committee, Rules Committee and Business Advisory Committee. Thus, the speaker plays the crucial role of ensuring that Parliament carries forward its role of legislation peacefully by maintaining harmony in the Houses of Parliament. The speaker is thus considered as the true guardian of Indian parliamentary democracy, holding the complete authority of Lok Sabha. So that is all about the functions and roles of the speaker. So with this, let us close this topic and move to the next topic. Moving to the previous year prelims question discussion. See, the two questions that I am going to discuss now has been asked in the year 2022. Let us move to the first question. With reference to United Nations Convention on Law of Sea, consider the following statement. The first statement says, a coastal state has the right to establish the breadth of its territorial sea up to a limit not exceeding 12 nautical miles, measured from the baseline determined in accordance with the convention. The second statement says, ships of all states, whether coastal or landlocked, enjoy the right of innocent passage through the territorial sea. The third statement says, the exclusive economic zone shall not extend beyond 200 nautical miles from the baseline from which the breadth of the territorial sea is measured. Which of the statements given above are correct? The options given are option A 1 and 2 only, option B 2 and 3 only, option C 1 and 3 only, option D 1, 2 and 3. See, this is a direct fact-based question. You have to know about the United Nations Convention. Only then you will be able to answer this question. All the three statements are right. So the answer for this question is option D 1, 2 and 3. Moving to the second question. Which one of the following statements best reflect the issue with Senkaku Islands sometimes mentioned in the news? The options given are option A. It is generally believed that they are artificial islands made by a country around the South China Sea. Option B. China and Japan engage in maritime dispute over these islands in East China Sea. Option C. A permanent American military base has been set up there to help Taiwan to increase its defense capabilities. Option D. Through International Court of Justice declared them as no man's land. Some Southeast Asian countries claim them. This is also a fact-based question. Know that the Senkaku Island are a group of uninhabited islands in the East China Sea. If you know this alone, you can come to a conclusion. And the islands are the focus of territorial disputes between the country Japan and China. Here know that China claims that it only discovered the island, and so the ownership of that island belongs to China. But Japan has said it has maintained the ownership of island from the year 1895, where only after the Second World War Japan surrendered it. So this is the dispute that is going on between China and Japan. The answer for this question is option B, which says China and Japan engage in maritime disputes over these islands in East China Sea. So with this, we have come to the end of the news articles as well as question discussion. With this, let us wind up the session. If you like the method of teaching and if you are clear with the concepts, please like, comment and subscribe to ForumIAS in various social media platforms for further updates.